people are like, change your controller settings, and if you don't like how the cars feel, well, you're screwed. No. Go into the pro settings. Each car has its own separate pro settings. Changing, even just minimally changing some of these, especially the camber and anti-roll bars, completely changes the car and makes them all 10 to 100 times better. Look, you can improve your times with a car by 5+ seconds just by messing with these settings. It makes the game way more enjoyable. The cars actually grip, they feel good. Some cars take a little longer to tune than others. Some don't need as much. It's just how the game is. I'm going to go through the process where I started Tier 2. And then, I don't know, we'll do, I guess, a hypercar, all-wheel drive hypercar. Just to kind of show you two ends of the spectrum. Front-wheel drive, I'm not going to mess with because there's not a lot of those in this game. And if you want, the first video on the playlist for my pro settings has the Ultimate Edition's cars, and I tuned that Civic. If you want to see what front-wheel drive looks like and how it can perform, go to that video, look at those settings, kind of see what I did. But I wanted to make this guide. I'll try to keep it as short as possible. If you want to see like my pro settings, what I do, the playlist is here. I've done a ton of cars. You can kind of like see how I go and then maybe kind of start to tune it yourself and see what's going on. But regardless, I see a lot of people asking on creators' videos and stuff. So I figured, why not? So look, here we go. Okay. Now I've seen a lot of people, some creators literally will just take the rear and max out 10% stiff, 20% stiff, 20% stiff, 10% stiff, and max out the camber, and that's all they do. And I'm like, that's not tuning the car. That stiffening the rear doesn't always fix the problem. Some cars, stiffening the rear helps with oversteer and sliding out. Some cars, it makes it worse. So you have to find a balance. And while, yes, it can help, you can't just do the rear and leave the front. You have to kind of just test the car. What's 15 to 30 minutes of testing and going back and forth if, you know what I mean, if it's going to make the car better versus just, oh, let me just max everything out. That you don't know what's going to happen. So look. Anyway, if this video is going to help you, we're close to 10,000 subs, okay? Help me out. We're so close. So I figured we go with this Mercedes AMG GT. It is a rear-wheel drive car. It is twin turbo. It's got power. It's street tier 2. Fairly interesting class as far as car tuning goes. So I figured I'd go with this one. I have yet to tune it. As you can see, everything is stock. So what I do is I hop in the car, okay? I will show you exactly where I go. I go to the Hanawama racetrack, okay, all the way at the bottom of the map here, and I just port into any of these. And I test, I'll show you the loop, okay? I go around here to this, like, S right here. I come around this, and then I'll shoot straight up, go through the tunnel, hit this sharp one, come straight down. I come across here, and I loop around here, and then I hit this big S right here, and then I come back. Sometimes I'll stop here, turn around, go to here, come back. It just depends. That's where I test. Best place is on the racetrack, okay? Because if you're going to be trying to test in the grand race, it's going to take forever. So we just hop in the car. It's all stock. I have traction control on because I know a lot of people drive with traction control. So I'm going to see how it, I'm going to keep the gas down for the most part. I'm going to see, this thing's pretty stable out of the gate. Okay, we're getting a little slide. Now, if you notice, it was fine until mid-corner, and then exiting mid-corner and exiting corner is where it gave out. So keep that in mind. I also I found an article that will probably help you guys. It's a whole, like, this website, it starts with understeer, okay? And it tells you corner entry. Just read it. It's not going to hurt you to read and really go through, and it tells you, like, what's going on. I can't see it. I don't have it on my main screen here. Kind of, okay, increase that, increase this, decrease this, camber, compression, all that stuff for the dampers, mid-corner, then corner, exiting a corner, and then it goes into oversteer. So we just had issues with mid corner and corner exit. So if that's happening to you, kind of look over this stuff. Okay, so I'll go over what I found helps in the game, because keep in mind this isn't a full sim game. We're also missing like caster, toe, angle. We don't have full settings like say in like Gran Turismo, so there's a lot less to mess with, and sometimes you can get away with less in this game. But like here, corner exit, reduce rear ride height. Okay, we can't really do that, so that's not an option. Soften rear coil spring rate. So under spring rate, we would soften it up, right? Get it to squat more and put more weight on the rear to keep it from sliding out. It's all about shifting your weight and all that stuff. So, you know, if it's too stiff in the rear, it's going to slide. And I see a lot of people just going full stiff in the rear. And I'm like, how do you? No, you want more traction. So soften them up a little bit. It's not a horrible thing. Make it squat a little bit. Put that weight on the rear when you accelerate, go around the corner. Keep traction. Also here, reduce rear damper compression stiffness. It just, whatever, I'll link this in the description. This will help you kind of get an idea of where to start, okay? All right, so we know what this car is doing. I will show you where I would start. Okay, so first things first, final drive. I'm never messing with that unless I'm, I guess, time attacking a playlist track, and I'm never gonna hit top speed. If you're tuning for Grand Race, which most of you are going to play, you don't need to mess with the transmission. I've messed with it. Some cars say the top speed gets higher if you shorten it, but it really doesn't. Unless I'm drifting, I don't touch the grip. You always want full grip, okay? Brake balance. Now, for brake balance, if you watch my Huracan video, when you brake, so most of the time in race games, you want to brake in a straight line and then turn in. If you're braking and starting to turn, your rear is going to slide out. And even if you don't do that and you brake in a straight line and then you turn in, if the brake balance is like really far forward, your car is going to tip more forward because you're putting that weight on the front wheel so you can turn in. But all that weight shift, you're losing weight in the rear, so the rear is going to slide out. So if a car is really doing that, you can change the brake balance to 50%, 55, kind of test it out. Sometimes you can go 1% at a time until you figure out that sweet spot. It could be 56%, it could be 53%. I haven't really noticed a difference in braking power. I've done a lot of tests. I've gone I've maxed out 80%, and then I've gone rear. The more you go to the rear, the more it's going to initiate a drift, so keep that in mind. I wouldn't really go past 50% in even brake balance unless you're doing a drift car. So some cars, though, I will say they do feel like they brake more if I go towards the 65 instead of a 60. So if you have a car that just doesn't feel like it's braking enough, kind of go with that. But the main thing for brake balance is if you're getting that over rotation when you let off the brakes, or if you have a car that's not turning in enough, throw it more towards the front. So when you brake, the weight shifts and it's on the front wheels and you can turn in. So we'll keep this at 60 for now because it feels pretty good. I've never messed with the brake power unless, again, drift car, okay? So aero. I find it weird in this game that you can't increase aero, you can only decrease. So with that in mind, I never really change the load on the rear, okay? I always change the load on the front, especially in a car that oversteers and breaks traction in the rear wheel drive cars, a lot of power. I think for this one, it doesn't feel too bad. We'll start out at 7%, okay? You can take this up to like 30, I think. If you read it, it says, over understeering behavior, blah, blah, blah. So technically, since we can't add, if we take away aero from the front, the rear is technically going to get more aero, giving us more traction on the rear. So we'll leave this at an 8 for now, okay? Springs. So for this car, first thing I'm going to do, I like to roll either 25 and 20 or 20 and 25, depending on the car for the camber. Some cars I go lower. It just depends on how they break traction. I think for this, we need some cornering, so I'm going to go 20, but I still want a little more grip, so I don't want to go like full camber, which negative 25 really isn't that much. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to put the camera on the front. So remember when I said I saw a lot of people just full stiff in cars? some cars get real crazy when you go full stiff. So when I start a test, the first thing I do is the camber and the aero, okay? Stay with me here, okay? So I do that, and then the roll bar, what I'm gonna do is max out the roll bar, max out all the rear parts, all right? So now we're gonna go back and we're gonna see how this feels. We're gonna see if it got better or if it got worse. All right, let's see what happens in this corner. It understeers a lot, and the rear is actually kicking out more. You can see how unstable it is. It's sliding too. It's not gripping up enough. And I don't get why a lot of people just go full stiff. Like, do they not realize that it's understeering now? But let's see how it does coming around these corners. Yeah, see, it just wants to over-rotate. So it rotated more than it did when it was stock. So that tells me this car does not like a stiff rear, okay? And I know you got to put some work into these tunes. You can't just max everything out. All right, so what I'm going to do is put that at a +3. I'm going to put this, we're going to do 8% on that and say like a 4 or 5 on this. And as far as the springs, we want a little bit of weight to shift back. So we're going to start with a 4 there. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to bump the rear to soft on the anti-roll bar. So again, we go and we try. The first thing I always do is check the rear. I max everything out on the rear. If it oversteers and the rear kicks out, it's worse. We need to soften it up a bit or tone the settings down. It's just a bunch of testing. Test and tune. Now, obviously, always going full throttle out of a corner is not the way to go. Let's see how it does around this corner now. Okay, it was going to spin out if I didn't let off the steering. Yeah, it's still a little. Wants to give out a little. Oh my God, we don't need that. Still wants to give out a little. So this car is going to have to run soft. Just going off of that. So I'm going to keep this -6. I'm going to bump this to a 2 and a 5. And the roll bar is going to go -3 for now. Usually on the front roll bar, okay, what I do is run between a 7 and a 10. This car doesn't really have any understeer issues as of right now, so I'm going to put that at an 8. All right, and then we're going to get back out here and we're going to try it. Let's see how it handles in this corner. The brakes actually work really well on this. Little bit corner exit. All right, coming up here, see what happens. Broke too late, that's fine. It still isn't as grippy as I'd like it. We'll see what it does here. It's pretty good. It's not bad, but it could use some more adjustments here. So this is what we're gonna do next. If you reference the website I showed you, what we can do is soften the spring rate on the rear, and we can reduce damper compression stiffness, okay? So we can actually, say, put that on a 6. We'll keep that at, I'm actually gonna make this, I take this to a 1 stiff, okay? Now I'm gonna bump this to a -6. You don't wanna go like too crazy, you don't wanna do like crazy increments, you kinda wanna keep it, you don't wanna do too much at once, okay? Actually, since this car is still giving us a little bit of an issue, we're gonna bump the camber rear to -25 and change from front to 20, okay? Let's go test this out. Okay, that wasn't bad. I was giving it almost full gas. Okay, so now, here's what I do for the next part, okay? When I get that pretty close, I start messing with the front, okay? The spring in the front, this doesn't need too much. I'm gonna go +4% stiff damper compression on the front. I'm actually going to stiffen up just a little bit. The rebound, I'm actually going to soften that in the front. Usually with the front, okay, the easiest thing to remember with the fronts of the car, the easiest part to do, okay? If you want the car to turn in more and corner better, you want to go stiffer in the front. It's not always the case, just like with the rear, it's not always the case stiffening them up. Sometimes you gotta soften like this car, it wants a soft rear. Usually if you take a car and you stiffen up the springs in the front, damper compression, damper rebound in the front, and then this is the biggest one. Max it. Like if you have a car that understeers, it's just not turning, and you're going towards the wall. Stiffen this, max the roll bar out in the front. Okay, it's the biggest thing. But the easiest thing I can tell you for tuning the fronts is if you have understeer, stiffen it up. If you have oversteer, soften it. Now, if you have a car that is over-rotating like ours, you can actually go soft on the springs. And sometimes it helps. Like, we could actually probably run negative on the front here and stiffen. Actually, you know what? Let's put that at 4. Let's actually do this -2 and do this like -5. And we'll put that at 9. And see how that works out. It's just trial and error, but we don't have any understeer issues with this car at the moment. I'm actually going to put this to give it another -5% on the load because we need more grip on the rear. So let's go try this out. Let's see how we do in this corner right here. Pretty solid. It didn't give out on us. Not really understeering at all. Let's take it around the full lap and see how it feels. Yeah, it still wants to kick out. Just from going off that, I gotta change some stuff around here. Alright, so actually, I think I'm going to soften the front a bit. I'm going to go another 2 clicks. I'm actually going to stiffen the front. I'm actually going to... Actually, you know what? Let's do something. We'll do 5 and 9. -8 on that. We're going to leave the front spring a little stiff. Damper compression we'll try -1. 3.
The next one is bound to be breathtaking.
Bump that to 10, and I'm actually going to try this at a -3 and see what that does. At this point, it's just sometimes if we went soft, it got better from stock, right? But now I feel like when we went a little more soft, it got worse. So now I'm going to bring it back and maybe try to go the other way a little bit, or tighten up the front, or loosen the front. It's just a lot of back and forth. I don't really know how to explain it. It's just you have to see what the car does. That's all it is. Alright, let's see what we do here in this corner. It's actually turning it nicely. That wasn't too bad. Very grippy. Sometimes I will get frustrated with the car. I'll completely wipe the settings back to stock and start over. If you're getting frustrated, you can't figure it out, don't be discouraged. Start over. It's fine. See, it's way better than it was, and it's not really kicking out too much. Obviously, also keep in mind, throttle control and steering input is a huge thing. Obviously, if you're full gas and you're full turned in, like if you just go wah and you're turning in and you're gassing it, you're gonna spin out. It doesn't matter how low you tune the car. So tapping the gas and like and then like feathering into it to full throttle. If you've ever raced in real life, you know that you can't just full throttle out of the corner. You have to just lay onto the gas and just push, and then as soon as you like straight full gas. I know a lot of people haven't actually driven on a racetrack or driven fast cars or any of that, but you can't just get into it. Like, so that applies to video games. So braking in a straight line is usually the best. You don't want to brake as you turn in, and then going like quarter to half throttle through a corner and then full throttle out. So feathering the gas, and then also like steering input. You don't want to go full steering input. You want to start arching it and then slowly go in, and that way you can have a smooth quarter exit. But tuning will help with all of that, but you also have to drive the car properly and handle it properly, or you're going to spin out. So with that said, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm going to run the track reverse real quick to see how it feels turning the other ways, and we'll regroup then. Take this one more time. Feels pretty good. Let's see if I can throw it in. Doesn't want to give out. Alright. I'm pretty happy with how this is. Like I said, let's run back the other way. See if it kind of does anything crazy or goofy. Little bit there. I will say one thing. Let me pause this. It's not loud. I've noticed with this game, sometimes if you're between like 50 to 90 miles per hour, no matter how you tune a car, it will give out on some corners. For whatever reason, once you get above 100, it grips better. So keep that in mind if you're like doing low speed testing on a car. Just keep that in mind. For whatever reason, it just does that in this game, no matter what you drive. See how it handles here. Not bad, not bad. Turns in well. Pull right out of here. Very controllable now. We're gonna NOS it into this next little S up here, see what we can do. We're going to brake a little bit, and then we're going to slide in there. No issues. Throw into that. It's very tight now. It's very, very tight. I'm happy with this. I think this is proper now. I think I'm going to keep it like this. And as far as that, I don't think there's anything else to do with this car. I think we found the sweet spot. So that's how I tune cars. All right, that's how I tune rear-wheel drive. Like I said, it's sometimes you just gotta play with it, and don't do too much at once. Okay, start with the rear, stiff, soft, see how it acts. Do a little bit to the front, then even if you want to adjust just one at a time. Okay, do that. Because if you adjust too much, you're like, oh, you're like, I made it worse. What did I just change? You changed like 4 or 5 things. You're not going to remember everything, how you do. Because there's no, like, it's just restore defaults. It's not, you can't, go back. And it's not like a undo button on like Photoshop, okay? So, that's rear-wheel drive. Let's do, it's going to be a little bit of a long video. Let's go do an all-wheel drive car real quick. I guess hypercar would probably be the best for that. I've tuned all my hypercars, I believe. I haven't messed with it. That's not all-wheel drive. Okay, maybe not hypercar.
We'll get it this time.
R34, right? I don't think I messed with this. A little bit. We're gonna set it back to stock, okay? Which is the test. So, all-wheel drive cars. So we're gonna get in first. We're gonna see what happens. Now, all-wheel drive cars are easier to, in my opinion, especially in this game. There's one big thing you can do to kind of get it to act a little better. This is very understeering. It is grippy though. It's very grippy, but it understeers. Okay, so we don't have any loss of traction on the rear. So the first thing I would do though if we did was bump the power distribution up to 40, 45, or even 50. Some cars that you can actually make them turn in better if you get one of the true 50-50 all-wheel drive split. It fixes oversteer, and I haven't noticed a difference in performance. I've done acceleration tests, top speed tests. No matter how I set the power distribution, they still accelerate at the same top speed, at the same marks, the same times. So keep that in mind. Actually, this was what, 35? I'm actually going to bump this to 40 just because, okay? And then brake balance, 60% is fine on the front. We actually need more turn-in. Okay, so we're going to do like a 3, like a 7. But we're going to go 9 on that. And the alignment, we're going to go 25 on the front and negative 20 on the
rewind that one.
Competition knows no bounds.
Share with you 5 critical tools every man should have to prepare for the coming struggle. You need an AR. Make sure it's good quality, that is a white light, a sling, and a good red dot magnified optical unit. Get yourself a plate carrier and body armor, something that can carry rifle plates and 3 extra magazines and a med kit. A helmet. If you can't afford a tactical helmet, get a bike helmet, get a Protect. If you can do night vision, do it. If not, a good white light will go a long ways. Get yourself a battle belt. Something that's going to have a good holster on it, extra pouches for magazines, first aid kit, and a good combat knife. But no trust in your local government. But no trust in your federal government. Trust God and His rifle and His slugs. Act accordingly. We share with you 5 critical tools every man should have to prepare for the coming struggle. You need an AR. Make sure it's good quality, that has a white light, a sling, and a good red dot magnified optical unit. Get yourself a plate carrier and body armor, something that can carry rifle plates and 3 extra magazines and a med kit. A helmet. If you can't afford a tactical helmet, get a bike helmet, get a Protect. If you can do night vision, do it. If not, a good white light will go a long ways. Get yourself a battle belt, something that's going to have a good holster on it, extra pouches for magazines, a first aid kit, and a good combat knife. But no trust in your local government. But no trust in your federal government. Trust God and His rifle and His slugs. Act accordingly. We share with
It's so hard to be humble. It's so hard to be. Hi, my name is what? My name is Mercedes.
Throw your hands in the air if you's a true player.
Hey girl, ain't no mystery. It's the one and only Eagle Double G. It was a clear black night, a clear white night. She was on the streets, trying to expose. I can't forget when my love.
Yo!
Major concentration.
Oh my God!
Hot flat landing. 30 seconds.
engine stops.
All right, fire them up. We go live in 5. Time for ignition. Straight up automobile. Drive. I'm too fast for y'all, man. Drive. All right.
What are you doing in here with all the seafood? I thought we were going to watch a movie.
Never been white demon slayer.
But why do you have all this seafood all on the ground?
We're gonna sit in here and watch it. Why not?
No, I mean, I'll be eating at the table.
No, we're not gonna eat at the table. If we eat at the table, guess what? We're gonna be tired, and we're not gonna watch the movie. But if we eat right here, we can watch the movie, eat, and have a good time. Look, I got juice, Sprite, or Coca-Cola. Your choice. I mix the butter. Ooh, garlic butter, ready.
You know how I feel about eating all over the house. I would really prefer.
VIP New Orleans food, so good.
I would really just prefer that we eat.
Yeah, you're right. Let me get up and let me be ready to grab all
I just feel like that way we want to.
But let me talk to you about that, because you're always right. Man, we got crab legs, we got shrimp, we got potatoes, corn, I done mixed the butter, we got Coca-Cola, we got Sprite, we put everything you want. Guess what? We're gonna have a great night. We're gonna watch Demon Slayer. We're gonna have you Starbucks in the morning. I love you so much. Just have a good night.
What are you doing in here with all the seafood? I thought we were going to watch a movie.
You ever been watch Demon Slayer?
But why?
Marry any of these Western modernized women, you're a fool, because you ain't getting a real wife, not a traditional wife. If you're looking for a traditional marriage, you're not getting it here. This is why passport bros are a thing, and guys are going to get foreign women that are raised with traditional beliefs. The traditional belief system here, dead, over. It's a wrap. Number two, a man's success isn't defined by marriage, a woman's is. Our success is defined by the success we create for ourselves. Your success is defined by, can you get a husband? Did you procreate? Because let's just say, even if you got rich, you were put here for a man and to repopulate the earth, to reproduce. So even if you go get all the money and all that, what does that mean for real? If I take your career away, if I take your degree away, what's your purpose as a woman? Because women are putting purpose in careers, money, lifestyles. If we remove all of that, which is humans on earth, what's your purpose now? If we're in the woods and the huts and the villages, you're going to get back into your natural world. All that boss bitch energy, all that's going out the window. You're going back into your feminine, back into what you were created for, naturally. Marry any of these Western modernized women, you're a fool, because you ain't getting a real wife, not a traditional wife. If you're looking for a traditional marriage, you're not getting it here. This is why passport bros are a thing, and guys are going to get foreign women that are raised with traditional beliefs. The traditional belief system here, dead, over. It's a wrap. Number two, a man's success isn't defined by marriage, a woman's is. Our success is defined by the success we create for ourselves. Your success is defined by, can you get a husband? Did you procreate? Because let's just say, even if you got rich, you were put here for a man and to repopulate the earth, to reproduce. So even if you go get all the money and all that, what does that mean for real? If I take your career away, if I take your degree away, what's your purpose as a woman? Because women are putting purpose in careers, money, lifestyles. If we remove all of that, which is humans on earth, what's your purpose now? If we're in the woods and the huts,